So, what is your greatest strength? Everybody in this room has a greatest strength. You all know what it is personally. And it's something you can use in an interview. And that's very important. Talk about these things. All of these that was mentioned in this paragraph, they can be an asset to you. It's something that is going to compel the interviewer, the one that's interviewing you, to look at you even closer, to think about you for the second interview. You can tell stories like we just talked about. And if they ask for more, be prepared to give them more. You want to tell them more and more and more. If they keep asking, you keep giving. And try to put this all in a story. One other thing that you need to remember if you're going on an interview, you have to have at least 2 to 3 minutes talking on each question. So whatever you prepare, write it down. Write down your answer to that interview and have it ready. So 3 or 4 days before, weeks before, you should know what you're going to say on these particular questions that we talked about. What is your greatest weakness? Tell me about yourself. What is your greatest weakness? What is your greatest strength? What? Yeah. Those are very, very important questions to have your answers written down. Now, on my particular course here, I have 95 slides. So there's a lot of questions they could ask, but the ones I'm going over are the ones that are probably going to be asked. More than likely, 9 times out of 10, these are the ones that are going to be asked. All right, let's go to number 4. Let's go to the other side. Let's go to the handsome young man with the tie. And have him read. El Guapo.
Always do a little bit of research about the company before you go to any interview. Whether it's being the VP or marketing or the main room clerk. You should view about the company or business you're going to work for. Has this company been in the news recently? Who are the people in the company you should know about? Do the background work. It will make you stand out as someone who comes prepared and is genuinely interested in the company and the job. And don't just gather information from the About Us page.
Thank you very much. Now, I cannot stress how important this is. If you don't do research on the company you're going to work for, you probably won't get the job. You have to know them. You have to know inside and out. You have to know about company culture. In today's world, company culture is a very huge thing. Because let's say, for example, you want to work at Google. They have a specific company culture that they have. If you ever see it online or see a virtual tour of that particular company, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You're literally part of their company and they don't want you to ever leave the building. And so that company culture is one thing. So company culture plays a big part. So when you do research, does that company culture fit you? Because you have to think about how that company will be good for you as well as if you're good for the company. There's 2 things that are very prominent in that you have to think about when you're going to apply for a job. Don't just get information from the About Us page. Try to look up as much information as possible. Go to, like I talked about earlier, Facebook. They might have a Facebook page. Go to Instagram. See whatever they have, whatever they might have out. They might even have a YouTube page. Try that. Go to that. Number 5, do you have any blind spots? This is actually a trick question, same as do you actually have weaknesses? It's the same as a weakness. So don't let them mess with you with this question. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it's important, especially for companies in the United States. They like to see thank you notes. If you have any friends in the States, people, doesn't matter where they live at all, if you can talk to them and say, hey, I just applied for this company, this is their address, can you go and send them a thank you note, a physical thank you note with my name on it? company will freak out. They will not believe that they actually got a thank you note from you. Even if they don't hire you, let's say they hire somebody else. They say, oh, that didn't, and so maybe 2 or 3 months down the road, they say the guy takes off or whatever happens, he's gone. They say, you know, I remember this guy sent me a thank you note. He lives in Ecuador. He sent me a thank you note. This is amazing. I'm gonna give him a call because that's how important this is. Thank you notes make a huge difference. If there's no way you can send them a thank you, physical thank you note, then do it by email. Email is just as, it's not just as good, but it's better than nothing. Every single interview should have a thank you note. Even if it's here in Ecuador, thank you so much for seeing me after every interview. It's really important. It shows that you care about that particular job you're looking for. And so that's really good. And follow up, if we go to the next part 2 of that. Following up means, let's say that you go for an interview and 2 weeks go by and the interviewer said to you, I'll give you a call in a week, or you'll get an email in a week, and you haven't heard from them in a week. It's okay to call them back. It's okay to say, hey, I just was curious on what happened. Even if you can't get them on the phone, send them an email. Say, hey, I interviewed such and such a date. I'm just touching base with you. I would like to see where everything is going. And if they respond, they say, no, we picked somebody else. One of the things you can do is say, oh, is there anything I could have done better? That is key, because now they're going to tell you what they think you could have done better. And that's so important for you. So these little things that tweak that interview so you are remembered. That's the whole idea. You want to be remembered for the good things. This is the final thing we're going to talk about. Let's go to number 7. Do you have any questions for me? This is at the end of the interview. I'm going to get a volunteer to read that. Oh, did you raise your hand? Okay, great.
At the end of the interview, or close to the end of the interview, this is one of the questions that needs to be addressed. This does not matter if it's the first, the second, or third interview. Do it every time. Around 75% of job seekers will say, no, I think that's irrelevant to this question. That is a terrible response. This question gives you a fantastic opportunity to stand out from the crowd and shout your knowledge and passion for the company or organization you're interviewing for.
Thank you very much. This is so important because how many times an interviewer, you can change the whole direction of the interview by having questions prepared. Having questions, even if they're written down and you have your portfolio and now you pull it up. Yes, I do have some questions for you. Employees really care about questions that you ask in an interview because it really shows your engagement, shows your curiosity, and it shows that you came prepared. A few questions at work are, what will my day-to-day in this role look like? What are some of the major challenges faced by this company? What does the training period for this role look like? This kind of gives you an idea of what your role in this company would be, or how you could help contribute to the company and to the team starting on day 1. Now, I've heard stories about people finding who their interviewer is, and they say, hey, I saw you on Facebook, you got a nice family. Oh my God, don't do that. That's stalker. That's like stalker. So stay away from that. Always keep it company oriented, keep it related to the job you're interviewing for. Remember, we're only talking about the first interview, So never ask about, in reality, you should know what the salary is for that particular job. You should have a good idea anyway. If you do company research, then you're going to know what do people get paid for this particular type of work. So that's important. Don't ask about, how much am I going to make with this job? You know, that's a horrible question. No, don't focus on yourself. Also, don't ask about promotions. That's way too early. You haven't even got hired yet. make sure you get the job. And then after a few months, maybe a few weeks after you get hired, then you can say, what's the process of promotions here? You know, don't jump ahead. Don't talk about benefits, because a lot of these big companies provide insurance and they provide kind of things like that. And so, oh, I need to go to the doctor, man. When's this insurance going to kick in? You don't want to do that. So those are important things that you should know. But it's really important to make sure that the process of the interview works for you. So don't forget about stories. Stories play a huge part in your interviews and how you're going to progress to the second interview. I want to thank you for your time. Appreciate all of you guys coming here and listening. And I hope it's a benefit to you. I hope that you guys learn something from this and can use it in your everyday life. But thank you very much for being here and listening.